A week after SH00TINGS, New Zealand joins Muslim community in Friday prayers. Christchurch, New Zealand U8 1:30 on Friday afternoon, Muslims in Christchurch began their Jummah prayers. A week earlier, but this week, the Muslim population was joined by tens of thousands of other New Zealanders, who stood behind the rows of worshippers. They listened as then the country fell silent for 2 minutes to remember the unspeakable tragedy that occurred here, shaking New Zealand's belief that it was an isolated utopia at the bottom of the world. Many women including Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, television news readers, nurses, students and police officers donned headscarves in solidarity with Muslim women, some of whom had said they were scared to go out with such a recognizable symbol of their faith. They could be seen in brief remarks before the silence in Hagley Park. Ardern cited the Prophet Muhammad as saying that the believers, in their mutual kindness, compassion, and sympathy are just like one body. When any part of the body suffers, the whole body feels pain, she said. New Zealand mourned. It was the first terrorist attack of this kind in New Zealand and the worst mass shooting the country has ever seen. 50 people were killed in the Friday attacks, the work of a lone gunman who distributed a manifesto full of anti-immigrant rhetoric and then who live-streamed the shootings. The 28-year, in an open-air ceremony in front of about 20,000 people, imams who had been in the Al-Noor Mosque during the attack, including one who was featured on the front page of the local paper, covered in blood, the day after the attack led the prayers. "We are broken-hearted, but we are not broken. We are alive. To the families of the victims, your loved ones did not die in vain," he continued. "Their blood has watered." The local paper, The Press, in English and Arabic on a front page that was blank except for the names of the 50 who died. "I think it's beautiful," said Mohammed Fahmi, a 29-year-old doctor from Malaysia who moved to New Zealand a decade ago to study medicine. As a Muslim, authorities had been hoping to have the mosques ready to open in time for prayers on Friday. Instead, Karen Shepherd, a Christchurch woman, said she wore a crimson headscarf to the park to show her support and solidarity with the Muslim women. "I am so sorry." In the capital of Wellington, hundreds of people formed a human chain around the Kilbirnie Mosque as a sign of their protection for the Muslim community. In the northern city of Tornga, the mosque was overflowing, leading some worshippers to lay their prayer mats outside in the sun. There were similar scenes at mosques in Auckland, New Zealand's largest city, and thousands were expected at a vigil Friday night. Some Muslims were separately. After the prayers in Christchurch, families gathered as a line of 27 hearses brought 27 bodies to a cemetery here to finally lay the victims to rest. The first of the 27 to be buried Friday was Naeem Rashid, who was hailed as a hero for trying to tackle the gunman at the Al-Noor Mosque. He died in the process. Rashid, 50, was a teacher in Christchurch who moved here from Pakistan a decade ago. His eldest son, with Friday's funerals, all the victims of the shootings have now been laid to rest. 41 were buried. The New Zealand government has covered the costs of the funerals. Muslims comprise about 1% of New Zealand's 4.8 million strong population. In the wake of the attack, but not everyone is impressed with the embrace of Muslim traditions. One Muslim woman, writing anonymously on the Stuff website, said the headscarf movement was nothing but cheap tokenism. "It's a gimmick and but conservative columnists in New Zealand were silent Friday, with several taking anti-Muslim or anti-immigration remarks from their websites or Twitter pages. The right-leaning but overseas commentators were more blunt. Tarek Fatah, a total of 27 people remain in hospital following the attacks, including a 4-year-old girl who was shot 3 times.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.